Adofunum the governor for the Bank of Ghana na okopiem IMF nhie mu bi ase na ne kasem no Ghana for bebre na complain say asem na yebisa ana expect say obekoso na weyi asem na no na so we de ne kasem no na akwakoye say the obo NDC baso on the IMF platform. Now, when we came into power, it's been 8 months. Now we have done this and we have done that. Now, in some bebre, nika semono, bebre na is to say na okasa edi tia the NPP government, whilst or uplifted the name of the NDC party as a whole. Yanko tie the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Abrana Okasa Ewo IMF in Shimuno Ase.
It's been 8 months since we came into office, and just as you said, we came to meet a challenged economy. A challenged economy in the sense that, remember, we had the domestic debt, issue in 2022. Fiscal policy was highly expansionary. It led to us exiting the international financial markets. There was resort to domestic financing. I remember all the sovereign downgrades that we had to suffer. And so we came into office with lots of liquidity, high inflation, exchange rate that was, depreciating widely. And I remember when we came in, there was talk about whether we should, cancel the program altogether. There were doubts as to whether we would be able to, carry on with the program and end it. But I'm happy to say that 8 months down the road, we have turned the corner. Ghana is back. Inflation, we met it at nearly 24%. Currently, it's down to 9.4%. We have seen a strong rebound in growth. We are running ahead of program targets for the year on almost everything. You name it, inflation, reserves build up, economic growth, we are running ahead. And we are happy to announce that we will be able to exit the fund program come next year. And so far so good. First 8 months has been revealing. We think that we have done a good job. We are getting all the upgrades from our rating agencies, which shows clearly that we are on the right path. Let me also take the opportunity to thank the IMF for the support. We've had tremendous policy support. They've worked with us in this journey, and we intend to stay to go along with them. When we came in, we saw that we had to do a number of things. Even the entire monetary policy framework needed to be upgraded. We needed to strengthen the credibility of the central bank. There was a lot of liquidity that had built up, and so we needed to do lots of sterilization. We also needed the complementary, efforts from the fiscal authorities, and so we had to engage the fiscal authorities at the same time. And then you also needed to look at food prices. So it was a complementary effort across all fronts that has helped to, deliver the disinflation we are looking at. But we give a lot of credit to the tight monetary policy stance we have preserved. Currently, even though we are easing, we are still holding that anchor very strong. A strong liquidity management, strong sterilization. For that, we will not compromise, even as we ease downward.
Maintaining such a monetary policy stance cannot have been easy. Huh? I'm sure questions must have been raised.
Very much so. The cost to the central bank's balance sheet has been immense. To give you an idea, almost stock currently is around 85 billion Ghana cedis, and out of that, the sterilization we have done this year alone accounts for about 65 billion. And so yes, but there's a price to stabilization. There's a cost to stabilization. We are in discussions with the fiscal authorities for them to assist us, probably to pick up part of that cost. But as they always say, stability is a public good. When there's macroeconomic stability, there's a cost to it. Someone needs to pay for it. So far, we are in that discussion because remember, at the beginning, I made that point that I needed to rebuild the balance sheet of the central bank. As you are aware, we came in to meet a bank that was, hardly, solvent policy-wise. And so that is also being tackled alongside the stability that we have.
In addition to the impact on the profitability of the bank, there must be some impact on credit growth to the private sector also.
Very much so.
How is that evolving right now in this relatively tight monetary policy environment?
So we have seen some private sector credit saw some decline. And to put it into context, when you relate
it to the level decline or just the rate of growth?
We saw some rate of growth, decline in the rate of growth. But that aside, it is a fact that compared to our peers, private sector credit, is the lowest, among our peers. It's one of the things we are looking at. You have a growing youth population, you have women-owned businesses that need to be supported with credit. And so going down the road, we are looking at ways to enhance that. But remember also that the non-performing loans ratio, for banks, we came to meet at a very high level. And so we are controlling that as well. We are urging banks to enhance their risk management frameworks so that even as we scale up private sector credit delivery, we do not worsen, that anchor. But it's something that we are tackling. I was surprised when last week I decided to look at the data. We have it disaggregated in terms of women-owned businesses, in terms of the geographical distribution of credit. What is clear is that it's all concentrated around the capital. And then women's own businesses need to have more of such, not to talk about the youth, front. And so the focus has to be on some sort of diversifying this range. But that draws us into structural policy. So it's something we'll be working together with. Now that there's a return to, macroeconomic stability, this is something, a conversation we will be having together with the fiscal authorities to take this forward. Right, so it all started from March this year, when decision was made to have a public institution that would be in charge or in control of the purchase, the selling, buying of gold, assaying of gold, export of gold. Why? Because we noticed there were a lot of leakages. There were all kinds of individuals that were involved in, buying gold, exporting gold. Now, when those exports were done, the foreign exchange was not returning to the country. And so that's how come Gold Board, which is a public institution, was set up from March this year. Since then, they've done a tremendous job. You can imagine it from March up to probably last week. They've brought in about $8 billion just with this, this short time, span. And that has supported us in terms of our reserves build-up. What we do is we intermediate what comes from their angle, and then the rest goes into our reserves. So yes, the Gold Board framework has been complementary, but that's not to say they don't have their own issues. As an institution that is just starting, there are teething issues that have to be addressed. But we emphasize responsible gold sourcing. And we made it clear to them. So when they export, the foreign exchange accrues to the central bank. And so we intermediate the FX. And so it's like a revolving kind of fund that we operate. And I think so far it's been complementary, helping us to build our reserves.
So the FX comes to you and you give them CD equivalent?
We give them CDs. They use that to purchase again. And, the time span is short. Within 2 or 3 days, they're able to turn it around. And so that goes into our accounts. We decide how much to intermediate. And then the rest, automatically sits in our reserves. Okay. So we also have the large mining firms. They deliver bullion to us directly. So bullion
as part of the government's
yes, as part of the mining agreement.
Royalty.
So bullion goes directly into our reserves, compared to when we had the crisis, there was a time we had about barely 2 weeks of imports cover. Currently, we are looking at 4.5 months imports cover. So that gives you a sense of how far we have come. We want to build more and more of reserves because, as you know, we are still a commodity exporting country. The risks remain. And so apart from sound macroeconomic policy, we also have to make sure we have adequate reserves just in case, the headwinds approach.